Do, do. A wild deck profile appeared. This is my train slash volcanic deck. It's not great, but it kind of gets the job done. This is the Scarlight Squad. I'm the Ring Snail. These are 3 ruffian rail cars. For those of you who just want to hear the deck, or just simply look at a deck list, I will provide that in the description. These rail cars, though, burn for 500. That is a soft once per turn, so potentially if you have 3, you can burn for 15. But you mainly want them in your grave because during the end phase, you can search a level 10 machine. And you have the Night Express Knight to target. You have the derricane freight train to target. And also 2 of the Super Express bullet trains as an additional target. The Knights, you can normal summon them, but their attacks go to 0, so we play Skill Drain in this deck, that way it bumps back up to 3,000. Typically when you summon them, you can get Derricane for free from your hand. Derricane doesn't really do much, but if it's detached, you can pop a card, so it's nice. Bullet Train also doesn't do very much, and you have to send 2 cards you control for it to attack in the first place. Obviously, if you skill drain that, I think that gets over it. I'm not 100% sure on that. And if it's in the graveyard during that turn, you can add a machine back to your hand. So it's nice. It also can bring itself out under certain circumstances. The other 10 you can play is the jizukiru, just because it's a kaiju. Sometimes you can play 2. It is a machine, which is also helpful. Or you can play an Exodius. I just don't have an Exodius, so I don't play it. Okay, for the volcanic cards, you gotta play 3 rocket, summon it, grab your accelerator reload, best card in the world. 3 shell just helps you with that draw power. If it's in the grave, you can pay 5 and search itself. I consider cutting this card down to 2, maybe cutting it completely. It's not really helpful at all. Sometimes it's dead, but sometimes you do need to draw. And of course, 3 scattershot. Scattershot is the card you want to send with Blaze Accelerator Reload. If you do that, you can potentially burn your opponent for up to 1500 damage, and you nuke their monster board. So typically, you want to do that at the end of their main phase. That way, as soon as they go into their battle phase, they have nothing to attack you with. To help you recycle your pyro monsters, we play 2 Royal Firestorm guards. These guys are awesome. Normal them, you get to put 4 pyros back. So typically, as long as you have 1 engrave, you can bring out 1, put 3 scattershot and a copy back, and that way you'll have recycles for days. And you draw 2, which is so dumb with this card. You don't draw 1, you draw 2. As for the spells, we play the switchyard. Switchyard is awesome if you bring out a high-level earth machine, mainly your train. You can bring out your railcar, and also it becomes 10. Your opponent just won't take any battle damage for that turn, so you just want to burn them if you do that. And then you can also send a card from your hand to grave to search those high-level trains. Now, you can only do 1 effect per turn, keep that in mind. But terraforming also just helps you grab it. The card is essential, but if you don't have it, that's why your volcanics come in handy. 2 special schedule. If I had the urgent schedule card or the flying Pegasus, that would be better. But special schedule just gets your big machines back on the field, and then if your opponent pops it, you can get it to your hand instead. 2 planners because you play continuous traps in this deck, so more draw power. Foolish. And then my silly tech card choice is Emergency Provisions. You send essentially your whole back row to the grave, and you'll gain 1,000 for every card. Doesn't really do much for you in this deck, other than gives you somewhat of a chance, because this deck just doesn't play very well. And just a nice card, and you potentially gain a lot of life. As for traps, 3 reload, 3 Call of the Haunted, and a Skill Drain. Skill Drain is actually very great in this deck. Like I said, it gets around your Night Express Knight, and it keeps your volcanic cards alive when they're in the grave. So Skill Drain is good for that. Call of the Haunted just brings anything you want back. Reload's something you really want, so when you search your rocket, you can get a reload. Reload is, one of the reasons why we play this deck. During outplay's main phase, you can send a volcanic card to draw a card, and then if it's in the grave, you can banish it to just send a volcanic card directly from deck to grave. So broken card, you must play 3 of it, and that does it for the main deck. Before getting into the extra deck, something you could try is Wildfire. Let me see if I can zoom in on that bad boy right here with his effect. You essentially pay 500 life, you destroy the Blaze Accelerator card, and then it destroys all monsters on the field. So it's really nice at clearing boards, and as I can see right there, the zoom sucks, so we'll zoom back out. And then you get a free token, Pyro, level 3, 1,000. You just can't declare an attack that turn. So it's just a little fun card to play. Unfortunately, the extra deck I am still working on, but you play 2 of the regular Doras, the ones that burn for 2,000, and then you can also make their big brother. This is the Super Dora. Dora's nice because you put it in defense position with that nice 4K booty, and then yeah, it just sits there. You detach material, you target itself pretty much, and it becomes unaffected by everything. The only downside to these big trains, yes, I have to say that a lot, is that if they kaiju them, well, yeah, you got kaiju'd. Dora's great. I recommend that over the Gustav Max any day. And if you have the money for a liebe, I believe it's, I don't know if, I can't remember if it's a rank 10, 11, or 12, but it's essentially the god train. If you can make it, great. If you can buy it, great. Don't have it, but yeah, would play it anyway. Ravenous Tarantula is another rank 10 target you can go into. It just, it's a board extender. As for 7 Sins, you can just rank up into it, just a board extender. But with that, you banish cards that your opponent has, and then you can take their material, so that's pretty good. Ravenous Tarantula just gains life, and it'll burn for damage when your opponent special summons monsters. So yeah, they're just extenders. Some other Xyz you can play: Dweller, Harlan Draco, Castel. That's non-Xyz. But these are probably the best 3 in my opinion. I love them the most. And of course, some links you can play. Doolittle Chimera misses range because they're fire and earth monsters in this deck. Last thing you need to play is, of course, 1 Scarlight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later.